This one's going to be a bit more serious than usual. Yeah, suicide. I'm doing a video on that. Should come as a surprise. I did say at the beginning of this whole series of on the topic of, I haven't done a video on this in ages, that I was going to do anything and everything, for a certain point, everything really. And this isn't out of nowhere. This isn't a topic that I've come up out of nowhere. This a couple of days ago, if you've been paying attention to the news in London, I'm not sure if it is any really a big news, but I was with my little sister. I was visiting Borough Market. I decided to take her across Tower Bridge. I think she's crossed it before, but it's a nice day out we're having. And as we're crossing, we see there's this girl, I'd say similar age to me, but maybe a bit older, standing on the other side of the railing and clearly trying, I guess, to commit suicide. And I am going to say it's not something I really expected to see that day, and I haven't really ever actually expected to see in person. You know, like I've seen plenty of films of it. I've seen plenty of news stories about it, but I never really expected to see it in real life. It did it put a few things in perspective for me. It gave me a lot to think about, and there's a reason why I didn't do the video on the day it happened, because again, it isn't something I feel like I should have done when it happened, because I feel as though I really need time to think about, to really put the ideas and perspectives right in my head instead of just blurting things out, because I've never been at a point in my life where I've gone, I'm going to try and commit suicide, I'm going to kill myself. There has been a point where I was depressed, and I did think my life was going to be over. It was during the time I got my results from my A-level exams, my AS level exams. At that point in my life, because I was back at that point, college wasn't like something I really thought about at all. I was kind of expecting, okay, I'll do my sixth form stuff, and then I'll move on to university, so I'm do my main game design course there. I'm doing game design, hopefully get that as a job. Yeah. I got my results back. I had to drop out of 2 of my subjects already because I was failing in them. And I was thinking, when I'd done this entire time before I got them, I was thinking, I can't have done that terribly. I'd say like the D's at the worst, like passable, but not like terrible grades. But they were not D's. They were not even close to that. I think an E and an F is what I got at the end. And again, because I had never really thought of any other form of education, I was in my mind when that happened. I was like, that's it. I'm screwed. I don't have anywhere else to go from here. I've failed my AS levels. It's going to be very unlikely for them to take me back because of just how poorly I did. And college and stuff, in my mind I was like, oh, because of these grades, there's no way any college is going to want to take me. I'm clearly an idiot. I'm clearly not good enough at doing what I want to do that any school would want to take me. That's what I thought at the time anyway, of course. Now as I'm doing a college course in game design, and the sixth form I was going to would have been more than happy to take me back. But when it happens, it's something that at that moment in time, when you get depressed to that degree, you do think of only ever the worst case scenario. I'm always like that. I'm quite a paranoid person. I'm always, in my mind, I'm always got like the worst case scenario planned out always. And when then you get depressed like that, is when in a scenario like that, you do kind of, it's worse. It is so much worse. When I was like that, I was in bed. I got this email from the sixth form, like, here are your results. I will admit I did somewhat cry myself to sleep that night. I saw no way out. I thought that was it. I'm not going to be able to get the job I wanted to get since I was 10. Something I've worked towards pretty much half my life towards, and failed now. For all that work to be nothing, in my mind, that was it. It was finished for me. I was done. And I'm not, my parents are going to be, if they're watching this, I'm fine now. Don't worry. I got over it. You know what I'm like. I'm fine with this now. I'm perfectly fine. I'm good. Don't worry about me. But with other people, they don't get over these things. They can't get over these things. In their mind, they stay in that state of, this is it. My life is over. No, it's not getting any better from here. What's the point? And it's something which no person should really ever think that it comes to that point in their life where they think everything's over. No one should really ever want to think like that. No one ever wants anyone to be in that scenario, because it's a bad scenario to be in. It is suicide itself is a terrible thing. It is a bad thing. But there are people who say, well, it's their life. They should do what they want with it. If they want to commit suicide, let them do it. And there is the argument. I have heard people say that it's their life, let them do with it what they want. But when you're at a point where you want to commit suicide and stuff, to take your own life, you're so depressed that you're not thinking straight. You get to the point where it's like, like I said, you just don't see any way out when you're depressed. And depression is like, it's not just, oh, I'm really sad. It is something which you have to get help to work through. It is something that if it is serious, you need help to get through it. I I was lucky in the fact that like I got these results and everyone knew what these results were. It wasn't something that I only knew, so I couldn't just hide it from everyone. Everyone knew what these results were. They knew I did terribly, so we worked towards it. Got me into college. I'm fine now. But other people, they find it like they don't like it's the kind of thing they have pride and such. They don't want to show that they're so weak, and they're in such a scenario where they're thinking about these kind of things. So they don't seek out help. They don't want help. They don't want to get help from anyone because they think, I want to fix this myself, or I can't fix this. Why should anyone else be able to fix this? And these are things I have. These are things I have contemplated before, but only after really seeing this girl contemplating it on the edge of a bridge, was I really get it, like really put into perspective how these things really are. It was odd. It was definitely. It was a sad time that day because and also another thing to put in perspective is how some kids can understand the true consequences of death. My little sister, you probably know from my YouTube channel and the few videos we've done together, she wanted to watch it, but she didn't seem bothered by the outcome of this girl dying, and that worried me a bit. She is 10, so it is kind of that point in her life. I don't think she quite understands the whole weight of someone actually dying. She plays a lot of shooter games. She's watched plenty of films where people died, so I don't know. Hopefully she'll get through it. Hopefully I'm wrong in this opinion that I've got. I hope I'm wrong anyway. But yeah, that day put a lot of things in perspective for me, and I wanted to make this video. So like, don't take this as tips to get through depression. This isn't. I have not had serious depression before. I never have. I've been depressed. There have been times I think, what's the point? And I've just sat there in bed thinking, what am I gonna do? And then the next one I've gone, oh, it's nothing. I can get through this. I'll get through it. They're there. But there's some people, they wake up this morning and they're still like, what the hell am I gonna do with my life? What am I gonna do? What's gonna happen? How am I gonna get through today? And some people, it's just getting through the day that's the most challenging thing. And and then even just thinking about these things can get depressing. I'm getting a little bit emotional here because just thinking about these different things, thinking about death itself is never a good thing to think about. But sometimes it's something that needs to be thought about, something to keep in your mind that people die and there are people out there who take their own lives. Even the happiest person on the outside can be damaged on the inside. And yeah, suicide's a bad thing. And yeah, I've been AtheistAnime. This has been on the topic of suicide and depression, I guess. And don't worry, I'll be fine. Goodbye.